What's up, guys? It's Levi. Hey, we're going to talk today about effort versus no effort. So I'm really excited to break it down a little bit for you guys and hopefully give a little better understanding what we're looking for when we're working our horse. So what I want is, like I said, is learn how to use it while you're riding your horse and working it, and just get a better feel for it, if you will. And if you got kids, you probably have noticed some of that already, where your kids at some things they have a little better effort doing it, and then other places it's not going to be quite as good. The effort's not going to be quite as big. So as a parent, if you want to make that to where it's consistent all the time, you're going to get after them and get that effort up a little bit on certain things versus from the other side. So it's just catching that in the horse. And again, if you got kids, it's going to be there too. So it's really no different. It's learning how to read it in your horse to get it better. So let's dig right into it. Another thing, the effort needs to change as your training progresses. So I want to make sure I remember that. So if my horse is in first grade, we expect less. So as they go into second, third, all the way through eighth grade, we want to make sure that we put a little more, we want to get a little more demanding, so the effort gets better with them as well. So we really want to keep that in mind as we start riding our horse. So for an example, let's work on backing our horse up. We'll say on the ground or in the saddle. It really don't matter. So when you start backing your horse up and the head is up a little bit, they're dragging their front feet because they're resisting the back up. They still might be doing it, but the effort is not totally there. So what do? As long as you get something, that's good, especially when they're in first grade. Okay, that's all right. So you're going to just continue it until they get better at it, as in head gets lower and the front feet aren't dragging on the ground anymore. Now you got a better effort. So what my point is here, don't stop doing it if you don't like it. Get that effort up. And you may have to increase the pressure a little bit here and there, especially after about 5 tries. You want them to try a little harder. And remember, when the effort goes up a little bit, that's considered like the slightest try. So when they have the slightest try, back off. We don't want to keep pushing on them. So reward that effort. The slightest little try on that horse, I want to be able to give it to them and teach them that's exactly what I'm looking for. So now, let's say your horse is in 8th grade on backing, and they're doing really good at it, and you start asking for a back, and there's like nothing there. They've put their head up, the front feet are dragging. You can immediately up that pressure and say, hey, there's not enough effort. I want a bigger effort. I want you to try harder. So what do we do to get that? Increase the pressure. And as quick as they hustle, remember, what are you looking for? As quick as they hustle them feet and they try, effort, that's what we're talking about. As quick as they try that, back off on the pressure and slow it down and finish out a couple steps, and then you're done. But then you go right back and you do it again. You do that until you really like the effort side of it. So if you don't like it, stay doing it. I'm not saying you have to stay backing and backing and backing until they get it. I'm talking get a couple steps of good effort back, take a break, and then do it again. And when I say take a break, I'm talking like count to 5. That's it. Go right back to it again. I'm looking for that like boom, boom, boom right away and right after each other. So when you get that all down, you pick up. Remember, we're going to say now they're in 8th grade. You pick up on that. I want to feel that effort. You pick up and start backing. I want to feel that head get soft and then feet going backwards. And no resistance. I'm not talking fast. I'm talking effortless. And that means they're trying to help you. There's a huge difference in effort and no effort. I really want you to remember that. So, and as you go on, like I said, once they're out of 8th grade, get a little more demanding. I want more effort. They have to help more because they're more broke now. So that's what we continue. It's no different than if you have kids. The older they get, there's way more expected out of them. And the effort. We want more effort. Try harder. You should be able to take the garbage out without me telling you. And versus when they're 5 years old, you probably not going to be that demanding. Like the effort the effort isn't expected in them when they're 5 versus when they're 16. So I'm just using human terms so we can understand it better. So a quick little story. When me and my brother were, I was probably 6, my brother was probably 7. And we got home from school one day, and my dad told us that if we get a certain chore done, it was actually cleaning a calf pen. That's what it was. If we get that done at 5 o'clock, we had like an hour to get it done. And he said we can go to town with him. And town, when I was a kid, was a big deal. You see all the lights and the cars and the horns honking. It was exciting. So me and my little brother, we went out and we really started working, and pretty soon my dad comes out there, and he goes, "You boys done?" And we're like, "No." And we had that look on our face, we weren't done. And he goes, "How much did you get done?" And we show him we were only about half done. And he looks at it a little bit and he's like, "Okay, let's go." And we were like, wow, we just swindled our dad. And we went to town and we had a lot of fun, whatever we did. But the point is, I didn't figure this out till I got older, that my dad seen the effort in me and my brother. That's why we got to go to town with him. I didn't figure that out, like I said, till I became an adult. That's the whole point behind it. My dad knew we weren't going to finish that. But what he was looking for out of us was just give me an effort, try hard. And that's what my dad rewarded. We got to go to town with him. That's what I'm looking for out of the horses. And it's a really cool, I always remember that story. And I applied that same thing to the horses. And when we can have that attitude and that mindset, you're going to go a long ways with your horse. So another thing is what I always try to remember when I'm working horses is positive, patience, and persistence. I always want to try to remember that. And the reason I do that, it keeps me in check, like guidelines, if you will. So the positive side is even when things aren't going good, focus on the good of your horse. Like you think in your head, like things aren't going the best, focus on the good of your horse. Like don't get caught up in the bad stuff. Just move away from that. That's the positive side of stuff. Okay? I really want you to remember that stuff. And then the patience, accept it even when things doesn't go as planned. That's okay. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. You're going to get it. Accept it even when it doesn't go as planned. And if you have to write this stuff down when you go out to work your horse, I really want you to keep that in your head. Think about it. And that way when you're working your horse, you're going to be in the right mindset. And even when things don't go good, it don't matter because you remember all the good stuff. Persistence. Keep going even when things are tough. Keep on going. Now, if things aren't going with that particular exercise, this is how I would look at that. If things aren't going good in that particular exercise, that's okay. Go do something that you and your horse can agree on. Always want to remember that stuff. So remember, positive, patience, persistence. Keep that in your mind. Write it down if you have to. And it keeps us in check when we're working our horse. And that's what we need, because when we're not quite down on our timing, our effort versus no effort, if we don't have that all the way down all the time, we're going to mess up. And that's okay. That's not a big deal, as long as we stay in track and we don't give up. So I really appreciate you watching this video. Real quick, if you have a question, make sure you email us at beachyhorsemanship@yahoo.com, and we may use your question for the next video. Also remember to hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this video, please feel free to share it. We'd love it. So until next time, see you then.